Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
We did it.
Christmas has come early this year. Ladies and gentlemen, I am your co-host, SV the Don of Step Brother Sports, joined here by our regular fill-in guest, Carl Eppers. Carl, great to have you on in
Great to be here.
hilarious of occasions here. If you're just living under a rock or haven't heard, the Sabres have made a dramatic move, one that I think Carl and I and Chris Mavs have been definitely waiting on. GM KA is no longer. Kevyn Adams fired about little under an hour ago by Terry Pagul in a statement put out by the team. Jarmo Kekäläinen has been named the GM moving forward. We don't know quite yet if it's going to be a interim tag, but obviously we're gonna dive into all that. But Carl,
yes, sir.
Great to have you on. What are your initial thoughts as we got this Christmas comes early present?
Yeah, it came on a Buffalo Bills victory Monday as well.
Yes.
So
yeah,
it's
man,
pretty active on the following up on all the nice things people are saying about Josh Allen and Buffalo Bills, and obviously just came off a win for the Sabres too. But I think we've been waiting for this. It doesn't solve all the problems, but it's the change that's needed to happen for years now. And I think it kind of came at a time that we were all thinking and hoping it could happen. I think we said in past podcasts, like around the holidays right now, we're at the end of the year, we're sitting where we are. It's just kind of like a clean and natural time. And with TG Tim Graham, maybe with some inside intel over the weekend and tipping the hand a little bit for us. And, texting yesterday with you and Chris, just coming at the end of the road trip, no matter what the score of the Kraken game was going to be, like this was a really good time to have it happened, and it happened. So it's great. It's a nice change of pace that we're actually making some moves.
Absolutely. And it just kind of goes to show you that maybe Terry Pagula does have his ear to the proverbial streets of Western New York. But yeah, I mean, honestly, in the buildup leading to today, there was a lot of rumors that we heard, both, officially, unofficially. There's text that I had with Tim Graham, both before and actually after he released a story along with Matthew Fairburn from The Athletic. So we were hearing whispers that something was coming, and that the timing, like you mentioned, was going to be right for a move. Obviously, the team on the road trip, Kevyn Adams was there. Terry Pagula in Buffalo was doing a bunch of traveling per his jet flight registrations from the FAA. So we were kind of following that whole situation, kind of where he was.
You tracking PJs?
Yeah. Yep. So we did that. And, but I mean, and there's also, it's interesting timing too, because news shared by the Kekäläinen's former team, the Columbus Blue Jackets, said his father passed away, I believe sometime yesterday on Sunday. So hearts go out to him and his family at this point. But you just kind of wondered if it would be something that they would maybe delay because of that. But obviously, as Chris Maz is back, he joins us here live on an emergency pod episode of Step Brother Sports. We also hope to have Joe Marino from Sabres Twitter on shortly as well, to have the super squad together. Well, Super Saiyan on the Sabres today, alliteration be damned. But yeah, man. So Chris, first of all, give us your initial feedback. As I was just talking with Carl, I'm a little surprised that they announced it today, because Kekäläinen in Columbus sent out a tweet that his father had passed yesterday, which explains why he was in Columbus or back in Finland, rather. I apologize. So I thought maybe they would wait on it, but obviously the Sabres were ready to make this announcement. So everything that we were kind of hearing leading up to today, that like obviously the whispers turned into shouts. There was smoke, there was fire, whatever type of analogy you want to make. TG, other people, conversations we've had with Joe Marino and others. What are your thoughts initially? How do you think it'll affect the team moving forward, both this season and for the long run? And do you think that this will be an interim tag, or is Jarmo here?
Well, first initial reaction I see, or have at least, is, and I've seen this 2 times now in the last 24 hours. First one was when Patrick Mahomes injured himself and the Chiefs were eliminated from the playoffs. And now the second one is that when we heard the announcement of Kevyn Adams being fired. And that is a photograph of Allied forces the day after Adolf Hitler died. And they're reading the newspaper headline that says Hitler dead on it. So that is my initial take to both of those things. And I saw somebody use that on like I think the official post of the Buffalo Sabres. Like some faceless, nameless, Twitter thing just did it. I was just like, you know what? That could not be more spot on right now. So yes, to me, that is equivalent of Hitler being dead for the Sabres. It could not be a better situational move for them. I mean, we've been waiting for this for years. I mean, he has so underachieved for 5.5 years.
Literal years.
Yes, years. He had over a third of this Sabres playoff drought responsible on his resume. A third. So, again, I also saw a tweet by Jeremy White. He's saying that there might be more Sabres news headed down the pipeline. So maybe Jarmo is going to act immediately on making some moves. So I'm not exactly sure there. But just looking back on Kevyn Adams' tenure, I mean, we started off as a pod last year, and when he did his infamous palm trees conference, when Joe Yerdon asked him about what does it take more or less to get somebody here, and then he made his palm trees comment. But then throughout his tenure, you see him trade away Jack Eichel, Sam Reinhart, Rasmus Ristolainen, Kyle Okposo. I mean, making these seismic moves.
Yeah.
Yep. Brandon Montour. And for all that just to be where they are now, about to potentially enter year 15 of a playoff drought. So, yeah, Hitler is dead. That is my take.
Yeah. And it's interesting that you bring up the possible moves. And this is me totally reading into the statements. But Terry Pegula did say, we're not where we're at as an organization, move forward with new leadership within our hockey operations department. So I'm wondering, what is that heading of hockey operations department? That's not directly saying general manager. If that was the only move, or maybe the only thing that was happening, I think you would intentionally say, or even just default say within the general management position or within general management. But to say hockey operations department, to me, is something that I would like to read to. Some of that is confirmation bias. I would like to see somebody come in as president of hockey ops, maybe somebody like Brendan Shanahan or something like that. Obviously, we could all be optimistic, but it's definitely pretty exciting to see all right, well, Jarmo's not a huge surprise. We did bring him in and everybody was kind of sniffing out that this could be the successor, but hey, maybe there's some more good things happening too within the hockey ops department. And he's shown some willingness to do so by, bringing in Stahl and Jarmo ahead of getting rid of Kevyn Adams. So don't
be that guy. It's Jarmo, Carl.
Jarmo. Yeah. Sorry.
Jarmo. Yeah. Let me ask you this. Do you guys, what are your thoughts on, I know it's early, we're all just kind of taking this in all in real time. Any thoughts on, does Jarmo clean shop or clean house rather, as far as, not necessarily on the coaching side, but on the Carmanos and the other people that were Kevyn Adams hires? Does he just kind of clean shop and bring in his own people, or do you think he gives them, this year to reassess in the off season? And also, from a personnel perspective, do you guys think that a move like this moves the needle at all with, the whispers of players being malcontent, like a Tage Thompson, Dahlin, and other premier, leadership type players on this team, to just breathe in a little bit of life into them, maybe wanting to stick around and kind of seeing what happens next?
I think that initially the first thing they're going to want to know, what is the plan? Who's going to stay? Is there going to be some type of bigger systemic outlook that Jarmo wants to have in place? Is he going to make moves immediately, or is he going to wait for the trade deadline? Does this mean any future movement for, say, Lindy Ruff? I know we heard rumblings of what might happen to him potentially, if he may or may not be coach, or if he moves to a different position for the team, which, again, like, say what you will, he might not necessarily like be the guy in charge of, be the bench boss. So, Carl, I'll let you handle this one.
Yeah, I guess for the first one, I don't know that would be first order of business. I don't know that he steps in and starts to chop up the coaching department. I also feel like that would be part of the decision in conjunction with who is the head coach. I would like to think that Lindy Ruff has been the type of guy that is able to push back on Terry Pegula. Like he doesn't need to like kiss the throne or anything like that. I'd like to think that he's somebody that could be a good voice. And I think there's in some of those documentaries that they do, he's saying like, I don't have the team I need, kind of like almost calling out Kevyn Adams. So it'll be interesting to see what the move at head coach is. And to Chris's point, like door one could be he stays put. Door two is he's not there. Door three is maybe he's got a different role. But I don't know that they change all that stuff. I don't think that would be first order of business. I mean, I think it would be overall a good move. But I think, to start off, I think there's got to be player personnel, figuring out Tuck, figuring out what the team's going to look like, who the head coach is going to be, flush out the rest of the hockey department before like figuring out Karmanos. I mean, it could be that he just takes the broom out and sweeps everything out and everything clean, and It all happens like overnight. But I would think that if you're looking at like a decision-making tree, like that might be 2, 3, 4 like steps down the road.
Yeah, I do think, like, again, if a move is to be had right there, I do think it might not happen like right away, because obviously, given the circumstances of Kevyn Adams, excuse me, not Kevyn Adams, Jarmo's father, unfortunately, just passing away. I mean, that has to have a lot of say for how he will proceed himself, because obviously that's a period of grieving. Obviously, the service that will follow. Hello there, Joe Marino. How are we doing
Joe.
on this fine?
Welcome to early
fantastic
Christmas,
day.
Mr. Joe.
Yes.
Oh, it's like the best day since Jason Botterill got fired.
Well, I proclaimed it Hitler being dead.
So Joe, I got to ask you. I want to ask all you boys. Like, I know how Chris Maz, and Carl too, because we have like these different text threads, and Chris Maz has been on like a rampage the last couple days. Like, I don't want them winning. Don't let them survive. I'd rather just lose these games. Are any of the three of you guys surprised that they win the 3 games to kind of close out the streak, and it didn't save Adams? It seems to me that tells me that this Pegula's mind has been made up, and they really were waiting for him to return home. I would assume for a face-to-face conversation with Terry. But yeah, what do you guys think, Joe? What's your? I know you're pretty happy. What are your thoughts about how this happens and where we're moving forward?
I was pretty sure this was happening after the first game that they won on this 3-game streak. So from what I heard, it didn't seem like results would have mattered. To be honest, I am a little surprised that, because it seemed like Adams, judging by some of the public comments in the media, like he knew this was coming. So I'm surprised that they put him through like this Western road trip where they played like 6 games, and the writing was basically on the wall that he was getting canned when he got home.
Dead man walking doesn't feel great. Right?
So yeah, not a surprise. And probably for the best that they won these games, because now you're like 5 points out of a playoff spot, and now you got like 50 games to go, and there's hope again. Like I said, immaculate vibes.
Oh yeah. And what do you think? And I know we were just talking before you jumped on. Carl was mentioning that he thinks that there may be more moves coming. Whether that be, I don't know, like a cleaning of house, like Carmano's, or potentially some other move organizationally before maybe some personnel moves are made. Do you expect to see a change up in that regard? Maybe a coaching change? Or do you think it's going to take a little time for him to kind of assess and maybe make moves in the offseason? What's your prediction there?
Honestly, if there was going to be a coaching change, I figured it would have been done already, but I don't know if – I assume you guys have touched on it before I got on, but the passing of Jarmo's father, I don't know if that –
we did talk about
literally as you were coming into the lobby. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't know if there was going to be any like big coaching. I know there was like a lot of noise about Lindy taking like the president job or something like that. If that was going to happen, I would have imagined that it would have been announced already. So Jeremy from the morning show kind of alluded to he expects some more news out of the Sabres to be coming over the next couple of days. Now, I have no idea what that entails. Could it be, like you said, Carmano's, maybe Eric Stahl? You got to remember, I know over the summer, a big talking point about Jarmo was, he's going to be stationed at Columbus. But from all accounts, like he's there almost every day. Like he's at practice, he goes on the road. So he's been able to really kind of get a good look under the hood, I guess you could say. Like he knows this front office. It's like pretty sure it's been like 8-9 months at this point. So he's going to probably have a pretty good idea of what's working, what's not working, what needs to change. So
right.
One thing that I identified, I noticed one of Jarmo's former coaches is still free right now. Todd Richards. He was an assistant with Tampa, I believe, when they won one of their cups in the COVID times, and also was an assistant with Nashville as soon as last year. So, and he was Jarmo's first head coach in Columbus. He was there for a few years. So that's a name if they're looking to maybe make a move behind the bench for like an assistant coach. I wouldn't expect Lindy to get the axe. They'll probably just give him the rest of the year unless it really, really, really goes sideways. But that's a name, keep in the back of your mind. So,
yeah. Joe, what do you think about like even zooming out a little bit more on the organization? I brought up, and Sean and I were talking in this release, Terry Pegula says, we're not where we need to be when we are moving forward with new leadership within our operations department. To me, like hockey operations there's a theoretical role of president of hockey ops that could be open. Like what are some of those maybe management roles that could be occupied with this new general management under Jarmo?
Yeah, this whole firing of Adams, I'm hoping it means that Terry finally has looked in the mirror and said, okay, the way we've been operating for the last 15 years is not working. It's not going to work. So maybe they revisit the idea of getting a real president of hockey operations. Maybe they give Brendan Shanahan a call. I think the last time I was on with you guys, we talked about it.
We can only dream at this point that is the call.
Like, write him a blank check. It sounds like he'd come here. You just got to pay him.
At the same time, like if you're talking about having Lindy not necessarily be ousted, but give him some type of position, which I think is well warranted. I mean, I don't want to put all of the woes of the Sabres on him between last year and this year at this point, but I do think giving him another position would be great. But then also Pete DeBoer still out there. Hey, made a couple deep Stanley Cup playoff runs these last few years. He's done it with Dallas. He's done it with Vegas. I mean, he's got a pretty solid pedigree. Say what you will about the whole goalie situation he did with Dallas this past playoff cycle, but still, I think he would be an outstanding coach to include as a potential option for the Sabres if that was going to be something that could be done.
As far as Lindy goes, now I think making him like president and having like huge say in trades, free agency, I think that'd be a mistake. But if you just give him like a senior advisor title, basically what Yarmo's title is or was, I think that's okay. Like having
replace another 05-06 Carolina Hurricane and Eric Stahl and give it to Lindy Ruff.
Yeah. Like you don't need to make him like the be all end all where he's got a ton of say in the day-to-day operations of the team, but having him in the room on trade deadline day, like bouncing ideas off of, like, I mean, it's okay.
Look at San Jose. They have like Vanek, Miller, other people. Obviously, they're kind of in like scouting type roles, but why can't you have a title, a role, have these people that have great pedigree to be around and have maybe not like decision-making power, maybe a vote out of however many votes, but like you can keep the guy around in one capacity or another just to be
right.
like to be in the building.
Yeah, keeping him, you know, if they don't want to make him the coach next year, having him in the organization still, again, not in like a super high authority level figure in the front office, that's okay. Like, I know that's been a big talk on the socials in the last couple of days, but I don't know, it could be worse.
Yeah. Now, what about in the locker room, Naz? What are the boys thinking?
I have to think that the relationship with Kevyn Adams it has to be, at least in some sense, strained, just because he's the architect, or rather he was. I'm going to make sure we keep saying in past tense now, past tense. So he was the architect of the roster. And I mean, for all we know, there might be some behind the scenes things where some players might not be thinking that some players are worthy of draft status. I mean, take a look at Owen Power. I mean, he's getting a lot of runway because he was a number 1 overall pick. He got a hefty contract to kind of support what he is potentially. But at the same time, the on-ice results have not exactly shown that. Not sure how people feel about each other. At the same time, not trying to start any beef by any means. If anybody from the actual team is tuning in the small likelihood of that being true. But still, your Owen Powers of the world.
They are.
Yeah, right. Your Owen Powers of the world might not be viewed in a much more positive light. It might be seen as more of an asset to somebody like Jarmo Kekäläinen. And perhaps maybe just because your Jerry Fortons in the front office as well, they might be now singing a different tune now that Kevyn Adams is gone, just based on where the team is currently at. Like, what could they get for somebody like Owen Power? Could you get a top 6 forward? Could you finally get rid of this 3 goalie tandem that has currently like been just a big thorn in the side of the team? And can you keep your players like Noah Ostlund firmly in the lineup? Because again, I feel like these were the things that ultimately got Kevyn Adams the oust finally, not to mention just the really bad up and down play of the team throughout the course of this season. But all of it culminating into this day, I mean, there's so many things that could take place right now. I'm just seeing a flood of articles being posted, whether it's the Buffalo News and the Athletic, about like first key objectives for Jarmo Kekäläinen now that he is the GM. I mean, do you shore up this Alex Tuch contract situation? Do you trade him? I mean, so many things could really come into play. Like, you could revisit this now that you have new leadership in place, like saying, truly, Alex Tuch, do you want to be a Buffalo Sabre going forward? We will find the way to make this happen. Again, Carl has pointed this out to us many times now. If they're going to find the money for this, you might need to move some people around. Maybe UPL gets shipped out. Maybe, again, we talk about Owen Power. Does Bowen Byram, somebody who's also been on the trade block in the last year or so, just because of his play, and now he's only on an RFA deal, which expires not this season but next season. He's on a $6.2 million cap hit. Like, all this stuff needs to be available, or all this cap space needs to be available, because you have Zach Benson coming up, you have Josh Stone coming up, you have Michael Kesselring, all the stuff that you've pointed out to us, Carl, for a long time, months now, just because, again, we might think the Sabres, just because they haven't landed some real big fish free agents, that, oh, they're flush with cap space. They are not, because they have all these young players that have really burn through these entry-level deals, which is unfortunate. But at the same time, like if you want Josh Stone to stay, you got to pay him.
Yeah. I do want to talk about two quick points about personnel. I thought it's interesting, Chris, good timing to talk about Noah Ostlund, who has, I don't know if you guys stayed up to watch the game last night, but hell of a 2-on-1 executed with him and Josh Norris. We see those guys both with the speed to burn to execute that, and it was an awesome play. And it's just like, obviously, the nail was already in the coffin for Kevyn Adams, but it's like just adding on, throwing some salt onto the wounds of, yeah, this is the guy that you thought was smart to send down. He clearly has been the best of those young guys. I thought, Chris, I know you and I kind of felt that he had outperformed even compared to Rosine. Dude, he's been productive. Pretty much every game he's played, he skates really well. You see the flair for the offense, the shootout goal, the play last night. He just looks like he belongs in the NHL with just the playmaking ability, the finish that he's had in those two instances. One other thing I wanted to bring up, we talked a little bit about Owen Power. Did you guys see, I forget who had said it. I think it was maybe 32 Thoughts, or it might've been somebody else, but I guess the Sabres were in allegedly on Quinn Hughes, like to potentially have either an Owen Power or a Bo Byram as a building block of a trade. You saw what the result was. So, do we feel that Kevyn Adams or Kekäläinen were having these conversations allegedly with Vancouver, and then they couldn't get a deal done? And then also with seeing what that package is, I think, Hughes is a much better player than I think both of those guys that I just mentioned. But does that give us a little bit of a blueprint of what we could expect in a return for a former number 4 or number 1 overall defenseman?
I think it depends on who was making the call. Was it Jarmo or was it Kevyn?
Yeah.
Because one of my theories is because Kevyn and Terry would talk every day. Kevyn calls up Terry and is like, "Hey, I'm trying to get Quinn Hughes." If I'm Terry Pegula, I'm like, okay, I'm firing this guy in a week. We can't have this happen.
Right.
I don't want the guy who is going out the door in a week trading Owen, my former number 1 overall pick, multiple prospects, first round pick, roster players. Like if that guy is acting out of desperation, like that could really bite you. I think if I'm betting man, I'm guessing that Byram's the one that goes out rather than Power.
Yeah.
But like I like Owen Power. I still believe in him.
Yeah.
I think giving up on him right now would be selling low. Like you try and fix the problems, not give up on them. And they got Michael Kesselring to do that, and we only got like 15 minutes of it. So hopefully he's close to coming back, and then we can kind of see. They play pretty well together in those 15 short minutes. So
I'm with you on that 100%. I would like to see them let him get, obviously, like they came into the season with that being the plan, OP with Kess, and we haven't seen it. So I do think that Bo would definitely be the more likely player to be moved. Obviously, I think with less value, albeit with the Stanley Cup on his resume. But again, trading Owen Power at an all-time low value is still kind of a kick in the pants of, admitting that you were wrong about the kid. He's still only 22?
Yeah, he's young, 21 or 22. Do you want to highlight a couple of these comments we've had coming our way too? So yes, not all is lost. So thank you for that. So 6 years too late. There should actually be no member of the Carolina Hurricanes, especially that 05-06 Carolina Hurricanes team, anywhere near this team. Yarmo will hopefully get a couple of the missing pieces. Can only hope. But then a very bold statement from a Flyers fan. Can you give us Darlene or Power? I mean, hey.
And Tage. And he followed up with the
and Tage, he says. I was going to say, I will listen to a Power trade. I mean, yes, of course. Like you want to salvage what you can. But if they're looking to maybe get a big fish, I feel like he would be a piece to that. Or like you were saying, Joe, somebody like Bo and Byram. Let's see. Another one from Madman right here. Power might be better served with different assistant coaches. Hey, no disagreement here.
Yeah.
Maybe listen, I want to touch on to that.
Yeah, go for it.
I was going off on this last week. When Rasmus Dahlin was struggling under Ralph Kruger, it was like, this guy's not the coach for him. It's never brought up is Lindy Ruff and Marty Wilford, are those guys the right coaches to have around Owen Power right now? No. I think that's a foregone conclusion at this point when no one's talking about it. Like, the next coach of the Buffalo Sabres, because I don't think it's going to be Lindy Ruff. They're not going to extend him. I can't imagine that.
Well, his contract's up, right, Joe? At the end of the season, he's up.
Yes, unless there was a phantom contract extension that we don't know about that might have happened with Kevyn Adams. But
is that a contract? Is that just an extension of the New Jersey contract? Like, is that the?
I believe so. I think they basically just picked it up, what was left.
Yeah.
So this was the final year of it, to my knowledge.
Well, I believe in that situation, guys, I think Jersey's still paying him. Yeah. That's why we were able to get him on the cheap because of that.
Yeah, pay him a sandwich a day or something like that. And
yeah.
I'm not exactly sure how that works, though. I know there's like set off language or something like that, and someone who's more proficient in the CBA can probably speak better on that. But
yeah,
I think anything. I honestly have no idea how, like, when you fire a coach and someone else picks him up, I think the Sabres would be on the hook for most of it, and then the Devils would pay anything extra. I don't know. It's complicated.
Why can't they just pay something? Football?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Then it's easy. You just pick the contract up. It's an even swap. Or you're retaining a little bit of money.
There's no cap friendly for coaches. We don't know how much.
Maybe we should make that, Joe. Maybe we should do that.
It's not a bad idea. Where was I? Oh yeah, the coaches. So I think a big part of what is on Jarmo's to-do list is figuring out who your next coach is and who do you think can get the most out of this number 1 overall pick that you have on your roster. And Madman
Leone.
Yep. I think Leone would be really good for Owen Power. Don Granato was really good for Rasmus Dahlin. I think Leone would be good for Power. He's kind of like a hard-nosed guy, but also is a player's coach at the same time. Just from my short interactions with him at prospects camp, you could tell this guy's the real. He's going to coach in the NHL someday. Like, there's no doubt about it. And like, he was even to be rumored to be potentially getting an assistant coach job with the Penguins over the summer. So I would think that the Sabres should try and get ahead of that and maybe bring him up behind the bench sooner rather than later.
A la Seth Appert, same situation.
Yeah.
What happens with Seth Appert?
I think Leone's a better coach than Seth Appert, though.
I would tend to agree with that. I think he's talking about the whole Power situation. He seems like a guy, at least to me, like, whereas he's going to coach his players to play with more of a snarl, whereas Appert seems to be more of like a finesse type of coach. That's just what I see with my eyes.
Yeah, I think that's a fair observation. And I don't need Owen Power to be like breaking his stick over people's backs and punching them in the face. I think he needs to work on his defense. It's obvious. Like, and I think that's something you can coach up and he can get better at. I don't think he's a lost cause by any means. I think he is getting better at it. He's like at the right place. It's just the execution of it in the defensive zone sometimes. But Owen Power is the best at his best when he's got the stick on his puck and he's playing with confidence. And he is not playing confident this year. Like, it's not even like he has regressed, and it's unfortunate, but I wouldn't say it's time to pull the plug on him or anything. I think you can still coach him up. He's still young. We got to remember, not all number 1 picks are created equal. Like, if the Sabres picked Matty Beniers, I think we're probably having the same exact discussion right now. If they picked William Eklund, we're probably having the same discussion right now.
Funny how that whole Michigan squad looked that way too.
Yeah.
Right.
Speaking of the Michigan squad, Jarmo connection and good friend of Owen Power, Kent Johnson on the Blue Jackets. He's having a rough year. If we're talking hockey trade, I wonder.
Yes.
I wonder.
Yes. Yeah. Madman again, defensive awareness can be taught. Yeah. I mean, sure can. You just got to get the right people around him, like we've all been saying, and like even you were saying. I have one final thought before I truly have to jet. You have to laugh at this also. Not only like is it like at least a joyous occasion for us and for probably the vast majority of Sabres fans.
99.9.
Yes. And also to your Alex Jones out there. How do you like us now? So hope you're having a great day, Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Anyway,
For sure.
It goes without saying, you're down bad when you get fired by the team when they get their first 3-game win streak, and you don't get fired after a loss. You get fired after they won. That's how bad it was, which is amazing.
Love it.
So that is my parting shot. At the same time, yes, great news. Let's get one thing right. On that note, gentlemen, hey, let's go Sabres. I hope the barn is packed on Thursday against Philly.
I think it's time. I think it's time to bust out some credentials.
Hey, why not?
This is a team. This is now a team that very much interests me, and let's just see. Let's see what Kekäläinen does, man. Let's see him make some positive changes. That's all I'm looking for, and that's all we can go is up. I mean, really,
for sure.
So, yeah, they're in last place in the East right now, aren't they?
Right. Shockingly 500 again, though, and not far out of playoff spots. If they have any type of momentum, you never know.
And this could be the start of the momentum. This could be the kindling, something to get all the boys going, right? It's a change.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those players in that room are dumb. They know for sure that their GM
Madman knows. Sorry. Madman knows. I choked on my soda. Madman knows. Love it.
Yeah, those players aren't dumb. They know. Like, I have no doubt. Like, if Jarmo wants to get Alex Tuch signed, he could probably get that done. Like, Alex Tuch probably still piece of but he still wants to stay. Like, I don't know how much has changed. I feel like the GM change only helps him sign here. So, maybe we'll see a decision on a goalie this week. Like, I feel like that's bare minimum. Like, if he can just,
we don't need 3.
Make a decision.
No, you don't. Not now, not ever. Unless
you guys think
one's
UPL?
on like IR.
UPL getting shipped out.
I don't care.
Lions played well the last couple.
Lions
times
should stay. It's got. I mean, Ellis or UPL at this point. Like,
if you get value,
yeah. Ellis, you get more runway. Like, if you let him play like a few more games in a row, get some more confidence. Still a young goalie, of course, but like same age as Devin Levi, almost similar experience as Devin Levi. But yes, this one might be the comment of the day. Choked on my soda with the Alex Jones comment. Yes, Madman, you're a real one. All right, for a quick little hitter. This one, thanks to Shawnee B for setting this up. Over 700 viewers, middle of the workday. So hey, thanks for tuning in, folks. So we got a huge victory Monday. We got a victory Monday even for the Sabres as well, just to sprinkle that in. So, hey, we got a Josh Allen bobblehead for that as well. Also, another big congratulations to Carl. So congrats on Milo.
Yeah,
there.
Carl.
Thanks, yeah,
number 2,
8 days old.
Yes, 8 days old. He's seeing all these wonderful things.
Yeah, a lot of our kids are definitely born into a good era for Buffalo Bills sports. Maybe not Sabres so much, but that's all my hope is. My hope here as a Sabres fan is that like once these kids are conscious that the Sabres will be good. So if like that means that we're not good this year, we don't do well.
Just start ramping now. That's all. Start ramping. That's all.
Yeah, I'll go through the pain so my kids can experience some amazing times with the Buffalo Sabres. That's what I'm hoping for.
And Joe, we appreciate you taking the time as well. For everybody, thanks, tuning in. Yes. Let's go Buffalo. Hey, go Sabres. Thursday night should be awesome. You guys take care.
Go Sabres.
Yes.
Later, Chris.